Yeah, and it's time for the Game Sports Show, the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. It is your host, David McKagan. I'm here inside On TV Studios. And here on the Game Sports Show, you can listen to previous editions of the Game Sports Show through thegamesportshow.com and our various media platforms. And I'm here joined by my trusty left-hand man, because you're on the left.
Right.
Alex Parr.
And
Alex.
Today, the first time in a whole month, he hasn't been able to hold the fact that he had a mustache over my head. So we're already off to a fantastic start to this one.
See, now, here's the problem with that. I put on a post on Instagram saying quickly that if I should keep the mustache, and I spelt it wrong on purpose, so people know that on Instagram.
That is not what somebody who spelt it wrong in accident.
So, mustache to keep. The votes, after over 100-some votes, the 69% no. And there was random people that I haven't talked to in quite some time. I'm going to say random, that I haven't talked to in quite some time that said no. I don't know if they know that I can see the votes, or I don't know if they just really generally didn't like it. But some people didn't like the mustache. Very surprised.
I kind of liked it. I'm not going to lie to you, Dave.
I wish I would have kept it. Now I just feel different, naked. Now I might grow it back, so we'll see. Here on today's show of the game, we got numerous topics to jump into. It's a action-packed show.
We're hardly in the studio today.
Yeah, we actually hardly are.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of news that we're not going to be able to get into, but we'll definitely make up for it tomorrow from SportsCenter or Thursday from Northern Superior Brewing Company. But here in part one, we got some NHL news that we're going to be jumping into. Lots of news around the National Hockey League, obviously. And in segment 2 and also 3 combined, Alex Parr was on scene covering the local wrestling that was going on, CWE at Sioux Blaster.
Not bad. That was pretty good, Dave. Yeah, you saw the hellacious attack that took place on this show, so we finally get to see who the true winner is in a fair and square match. So you'll have to stay tuned to make sure you catch the end of that one.
So now there's that we're going to jump into. Then part 4 of the show, we're going to have the Terry Ryan interview that we've already uploaded on Thursday. So we're going to, but we're going to show you the video portion of it, okay, just so you get a different perspective of it, and just so you can catch up on it, just in case you did not have the opportunity. Then in the last part of the show, we'll have our In the Pocket segment. But without further ado, Alex, let's jump into our hockey talk.
Let's do it.
Fancy bumper.
Very
courtesy
fancy.
of yourself, Jake, and the whole
Jacob.
All Jacob.
Jacob, a little bit of
I just feel like I just shortcutted Jacob there a little bit. But nonetheless, the bumper, fantastic. Just to quickly jump in, as I mentioned, we're not going to be able to jump into a lot of local perspective today because we have a lot of content that we put into the show. But I would set a reminder that the Hounds do play this Thursday in Niagara, and you can listen to the game through our good friend on Rock 101, Jerry Linscomb Jr., as you can hear him through our Sovereign Communications ESPN 1400 broadcast as well, connected through there, but he'll be on Rock 101. Then Wednesday, the Thunderbirds play against Rayside Balfour Canadiens, a makeup game for the postponed game that they had earlier this week. But we'll get into more local sports with all the NLJHL, OHL, NCAA, and varsity teams in the local region on our Thursday edition from Northern Superior Brewing Company with a little bit of a slight recap from this past weekend. But you can listen to yesterday's show from ESPN 1400 with all those previous updates as well. Now, Alex, we're going to jump into talk about the National Hockey League in terms of coaches.
Oh boy, that's all anybody has to say about the NHL right now.
And we're going to keep it brief. We're not going to keep a whole segment on this because we have lots to talk about. But more coaches in hot water. Mark Crawford being one, who is now under investigation with the Chicago Blackhawks. More allegations coming about Mike Babcock that I'm actually not being surprised anymore about this because how Mike Commodore is quite open about how Mike Babcock is, as there he is walking out the tunnel. I wonder if that's the walk he did after practice after he was let go, even though that's in Toronto. I think he was let go in Arizona. But nonetheless, why is all this news coming out in this after people's dismissals or just now? Did Akeem Alou start this? And also, Johan Franzen, okay, as people heard the speculation, still gets shivers thinking about Babcock when he was his time under him.
I think if Mike Babcock was not coaching the Toronto Maple Leafs, you wouldn't see this story boil down or boil over in the way that it has so much, because there's a lot of money in making stories about Leafs, and that's what people want to read because they've got a large fan base. So people read.
Do they?
Oh, I know, right? Surprising to some few at home.
I didn't know that.
I'd hope not. But if there wasn't investigators and journalists going in and diving and nitpicking at every little thing, and then, what did he do with Mitch Marner? Well, that's not very nice. Well, wait a minute. He did something bad over here, too. And, now this coach actually did something, too. And as it snowball effects and one person's brave enough to talk and speak openly about the wrongdoing by their coach, that opens another door for another player to talk about another coach.
Yeah.
And we're going to see a lot more openness in this league, and coaches are probably looking over their shoulder to see what they did in the past, maybe readjusting that rearview mirror to be like, uh-oh, and biting their fingernails, because it looks like the dirt's getting out on all of them.
On all of them. And you know what? This isn't false allegations. People don't go to the media just to have attention.
No.
People are already doubting Sean Avery just because of who he is. Nah, Sean Avery kind of reminds me a lot of a Theron Fleury, but not the same kind of career. Just the same type of attitude, okay, especially as a hockey player. No one lies about this stuff. If you do lie about this, you lose your whole respect as an individual.
Yeah.
And you will get caught if you're lying, okay? You will get caught.
Yeah, that's why people didn't want to come openly out and say all of these things, because there's like a code in the dressing room. You got to protect yourself and the guys that you're with, and you don't want that controversy to start, but there is a line that's definitely been crossed by a number of these coaches a number of times.
There's definitely going to be a lot of news coming out of this, and we're going to dive into it more on Thursday into full discussion with myself, you, and Dane, and potentially if we have some more guests on there. So we'll save a bit more of that as we have a couple more topics to jump into.
For sure.
And we're going to go into talking about the Montreal Canadiens, okay? So surprisingly, everyone's saying, what do you want to talk about the Canadiens? Not much to talk about. Exactly. They're on an 8-game losing streak.
Wow.
Okay, which is very hard for Montreal Canadiens fans to take. Right now, my question that I'm getting, is it time to trade Carey Price? All these rumors are coming out like they're Toronto fans, okay? They have a goalie who's I still arguably the best in the league. I'm sorry, I still think he is. Heavy stockpile salary. But is this a Patrick Waugh 2.0 scenario? Does he go to Colorado? Is that a fit? Or does Montreal need to start thinking rebuild?
It's so hard, because how do you have a franchise goalie that you can't build around for his entire tenure? It would be considered a complete failure for since 2005 when he was drafted, a complete failure for that entire franchise.
Yeah.
And then if you trade him, you're starting from the ground up. You don't have a goalie in the system. Zach Fucale was the last guy they drafted big. What happened to him? Who knows?
Still playing the minors.
I don't know. I said before the season started that I didn't think the Montreal Canadiens were a playoff team. I also said I didn't think the Sabres or the Oilers were, but anyway, we're not talking about that. But the Canadiens, they don't have enough, but I don't know what trading Carey Price is going to do, because your city is going to be in an uproar if that happens.
You know what I like as an example when I get people saying, I think it's time for Montreal to rebuild? Hello, you guys have been rebuilding the last couple of years. They weren't expected to do as good as they were last year.
No.
Okay, they were just a hard-nosed, pesky team that got the job done, and Max Domi is a big part of that. I'm actually a fan of Max Domi, okay, despite what uniform that he wears. I'm taking my host hat off and putting my Leaf fan hat on. But Montreal Canadiens are rebuilding. They drafted Kotkaniemi 3rd overall. Okay, that is a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you got Max Domi. You make that trade with Galchenyuk. Okay, you make these moves. Okay, you're expecting to have a rebuilding phase. Shea Weber for Subban made actually a lot of sense now that you think about it. In hindsight, people are like, oh, he's going to be older. You know what? Maybe so, but $9 million compared to $7.8, and the presence on the blue line was a benefit to the Montreal Canadiens. You traded Pacioretty to Las Vegas. What was I thinking? I almost said Los Angeles, but Las Vegas. Okay, you make these moves. Okay, they are rebuilding. They've been retooling. They're ahead of their plan, believe it or not. Right now they're struggling.
Wow. Yeah.
But nonetheless, they're on the right track. I think people may not believe that, but there's still some work to be done to rebuild to be a better hockey team.
Yeah, I think you can get quite a bit for Shea Weber, and I think you can get quite a bit for Carey Price just based on veteran experience, and they can still bring it. I don't think Carey Price is the best goalie in the world right now, but I think if you trade him and you get him in a different mindset and a different place that maybe is in a much better position to win, I think you'll see that best goalie in the world come out of him again.
I think it's time to look at maybe moving some veterans and trying to shake things up quickly to try to get a quick fix in there, try to rebound this year. Don't force the playoffs, but look at potential moves. Don't turn it down, as Mark Bergevin gets heavily criticized, but nonetheless, okay, he has made some decent moves. Look at some players that he's brought in. Nonetheless, Jesse Puljujarvi and Julius Honka will not be returning to the NHL this year. We'll be jumping to that on Thursday. It was from our trusty colleague Dane Hanshaw, being an Oilers fan, we'll jump into Jesse Puljujarvi. But the World Junior announcement quickly before we go to break. How good is that team? And again, that's something we're going to jump into a lot on Thursday. But that team, Alex.
It looks like a game of Jenga because it's stacked, buddy.
It's stacked.
It is so good. And this is my favorite hockey of anything. Olympics, Stanley Cup Finals.
Okay.
This is my favorite. This was the hockey that got me hooked and made me want to watch every single year. And this team, I haven't been as excited for, but you can read the names: Quinton Byfield, Ty Dellandrea, Aiden Dudas, like Liam
Alexis
Foudy.
Lafreniere.
Oh my goodness, the next great hockey
Nico
legend.
Dawes?
Nico Dawes.
So he's good.
I did a little bit of research into the goalies because the names didn't jump right out at me, but Nico Dawes is rocking a .931 save percentage and a .214 goals against average in the OHL, where like a .280 goals against average is good enough to be a superstar goalie. My goodness, get excited, Canada, because I think we've got a chance at getting that gold medal again.
Yes, I think so too. And we'll dive into this more on Thursday. My player to watch is Askarov on Russia. The goalie from Russia is the next goalie coming up. Watch and mark my words with that. Dave, Alex,
Yes,
inside
sir.
On TV studios here on the Game Sports Show, the Twin Cities only local regional national sports show. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we got a couple of segments combined for our local wrestling, the CWE event at Sioux Blasters. And then after that, we have Terry Ryan's interview. We won't be back into the studio until the last part of the show where we'll have In the Pocket. So make sure you enjoy all these great segments here on the Game.
This will be your main event. In this match, it is win, lose, or draw. But first of all, we have a guest referee. I'd like to introduce from Sault Ste. Marie. I didn't say my name. Joe Chivarella.
See, guys, I don't know what's happening there, but that is Joe the Shiv Chivarelli.
There we go.
That is right. Ladies and gentlemen, this matchup...
Referee gets his own music?
Oh, yeah, definitely he
I
does.
didn't get music.
Do you not know who the Shiv is?
He was on here doing a better job than you were a bit earlier, but that's the only way that I know him.
Wow, you need to do some homework.
You asked, my friend, you asked. He actually got some energy out of the crowd. That's the first time I think I've ever seen a referee get the love like that.
Hey, Chivarelli always gets love anytime that he is at an event here in Sault Ste. Marie. This is normal. This is how people see the Shiv.
All I can hope for is that he does a better job than the guys in stripes at the GFL Memorial Gardens earlier today.
Oh.
Joe's got something to
Ladies
say.
and gentlemen,
Surprise, surprise.
this is Diego Davinci's final wrestling match. Win, lose, or draw, Diego is finished after tonight. And I was Diego's tag team partner when he started in this business. I've known Vinny
true.
since he was 5 years old.
That's
May the
also
best
true.
Da Vinci win.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is an emotional matchup here. Growing up in this business, working
Introducing
with
first,
both of these guys.
Sault Ste. Marie's
Wow.
own,
The match they've both always
at a
wanted.
weight of 210 pounds,
Match they've wanted, the match we've never gotten until
Davinci!
today.
Here's the man coming out for his final match. Everybody watching right now saw exactly what happened over on the Game Sports Show. Quick shameless plug there, where you'll find me and Dave McKeag every Tuesday at 7 o'clock on TV. Diego Davinci was jumped. He comes in for an exclusive interview. We're talking about how he's retired, happy retired, and staying retired. Vinny comes out there with a contract claiming he's still got a match to fulfill, and that is here tonight.
That's exactly what it was. This is the wrestling business, though. We see everybody taking a moment here, and they've got signs up that say, "Thank you, Diego." This is amazing to see right now.
You can
But
see-
again, it's the wrestling business, and in this business, we never say never. The crowd on their feet here. These signs are amazing to see. Everyone coming out here for this retirement final match, as they're billing it for Diego
This is the
Davinci.
second, third time he's had his final match.
I think so. Third.
The guy likes the limelight a little too much.
And I'm okay with it, though. If you have not seen a matchup with Diego Davinci, you're missing out because you really need to see this. And if this is going to be the last one, listen to this right now. The crowd saying, thank you, Diego.
Love you, too. Wow.
No time for tears and wrestling,
And
no,
his
Diego.
opponent,
Maybe this is it.
at 5'5", 165, coming to you live, the Sin City Saint, Davinci!
A matchup long talked about, long wanted, never achieved until here tonight, people.
The brothers are finally getting a chance to put their hands on each other in the squared circle. Oh, Cobra Kai vest out there.
Look at this attire from Vinny Davinci right now. But we got to remember, earlier on in the night,
Yes, sir.
he went through hell.
And maybe he's just trying to cover up some of the welts he got on his back from being absolutely battered around the ring and embarrassed by the team of the #1 Brian Johnson and the CWE champion, Vinny Marseglia.
We will have to see what he has left in the tank for this matchup. And this is going to be a hard matchup for even the fans themselves. Both of these guys.
Oh,
whoa.
right off a flip, trying to showboat it. He goes ahead and just belts out a forearm.
Two hometown boys, and one of them deciding to take the advantage.
I was one of Vinny's biggest fans until he came and made a mockery of my show. Get him, Diego.
Diego laying in with those rights.
Now the shoulder.
And another shoulder, a hard one, into that corner. Oh, and he...
Oh.
What happened? He, threw him across the ring. You can see already, the effects of the match earlier are having an effect on Vinny right now.
You know, and I don't know how much I would favor the idea of having a referee in there that is personal friends with these two guys. Danny Duggan, if you're watching this back, you might want to rethink that because Shiv Dog gets hurt, you might have a little bit of a lawsuit coming your way.
Maybe so, but we do know that Joe Chivarelli, the Shiv, has signed off on every piece of paper needed to be inside that ring right now, so we know that everything is legal and legit. There is no turning back right now.
So if he gets hurt, it's based on stupidity.
Bell rings, matchup starts.
Vinny ducks under.
Trying to lift up the bigger guy.
But this is the battle of two very different styles. You've got the high flyer, you've got the brawler. Will it be strength or will it be flash that comes out on top?
I don't know what we're going to see tonight, but I do know that the two of them have worked together for so long as a tag team that I think it's just going to be a total back and forth. They're going to already know who is doing what and where and when and why and how and all of those W's going on.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself. When you've been working with a guy for this long, training with him, working together as a tag team, you know their tendencies. You know, oh, he's going to block this way with a move like this. He's going to flip off here when he's getting the crowd hyped up. So it'll really be a battle of the styles.
It definitely will be, but we have been seeing a little bit of a different Sin City Saint. Vinny Davinci, he's really embroiled
Yeah, it looks like he stole
Sin City Saint on him.
It looks like he stole Chester Cheeto's pants before this one, if that's what you want to call different.
Maybe he did.
Boom! Big fall away slam by Diego.
Diego, it looks like he is in this just to
He doesn't have the long
get
hair
it done.
anymore. He can't get him.
Come on, guys, come on.
Oh. Using that rope to his advantage, able to get that leverage.
And that's another veteran move.
A sunset flip, but Diego's holding on with dear life.
Diego is the stronger of the two. We've always
absolutely
known that. Vinny Davinci saying he's got this. I don't know about that.
Here it comes. Discus clothesline. No, rather a discus forearm.
Discus forearm, that's
Yes.
right. It was blocked. Oh, and now we're seeing Vinny Davinci back on top again. Like I said, this is a back and
Ooh,
forth
big
matchup
drop kick
happening.
using that second rope.
These fans chanting Diego. Roll through again. Oh, and no one home.
Diego, that's exactly it. You tag with a guy for this long, you know how to get in his head and avoid his moves. Outside, he caught him! He caught him!
No way.
Elbows
What?
now.
Oh.
He's got to put Vinny down. Ducks the clothesline. Diego ducks another one into the kid, but distracted now because of it. Oh, face eating some of that canvas.
Why was that not a disqualification? The kid interfered in the matchup.
You know what? That's actually a very fair point. I guess that's why you get professionals to referee and not shivdom.
Apparently.
Oh, power slam. Leg
and
drop.
a leg drop. Huge. 1, 2.
No, that's not going to be enough for a grudge match like this. It's not going to be a simple Hogan leg drop that gets somebody put away for 3.
Why not? Hogan did it for how many years, and it was pretty effective.
Yeah, effective, I guess, is right, but I mean, I've seen better. Like that, for
That's
example.
a big power
running
slam. 1, 2, and another kick out.
I think Braun Strowman's smiling somewhere, knowing that just happened. Back again. Can he get another one? Of course not.
Floats over.
Can't go to the well too many times. That's a roll. That's a pin. That's a 2, but not a 3.
Just a 2 count again. See, back and forth.
Well, I mean, 2 guys that are fighting for 2 different things. Diego wanting to go out, not looking at the lights in his last match, doing it in front of friends and family here. And Vinny just trying to embarrass him.
That's all that Vinny Davinci has decided that he wants to do is just embarrass everything right now. This is something that has been irking Vinny Davinci for so long, knowing that Diego has always been the better guy.
Whoa.
Oh yeah, we all know it, and so does he.
Oh, duck to the
Frozen.
outside. My goodness.
He landed
Vinny,
hard.
You've already had a match tonight. I'm not too sure what you're thinking here. Thinking that there's a shot at you being able to take that much impact and still have a shot at winning this.
But that's what the professional wrestler in all of us do. We find it. We find it deep down inside the heart, and we just make sure we do it. Nice back elbow happening right there. Up onto the ropes.
Can't get that spinning tornado DDT. But Diego can hit an explosive suplex.
And in for the cover. And just a 2 count. We got a whole bunch of different going on right now. We've got some Diego chants. We've got some Vinny chants. The crowd is just 50-50 on this thing.
A roll up. Are the shoulders down? No, Diego's trying to fight that through. Now, what I want to know is if you're a family member of the Da Vinci's, who are you cheering for?
You're not at all. You're just sitting back hoping that they do not kill each other.
Yeah, and I think, look at this brawl going on there. They're not even caring if the moves look good right now. They're just trying to get some stiff forearms in there.
And kicks too. Just down.
Speak of it. Might want to reposition that draw there, Diego. Trying for that tornado DDT again. Nope, can't get it. Gets put to the outside. Diego's trying to get something going here, but all he's going to get is a big shoulder to the chest. Now,
he floats into the ropes. Oh,
big
and a huge spear.
I didn't know Diego had that in him.
Huge spear. Both men are down at this point. Man, they are giving everything that they have got in this matchup tonight.
Well, they better be. I mean, if this is really Diego's last kick at the can, he better make it look like it's
Diego
exactly
rolling
that.
over. Oh, and a kick out at 2. A very weak cover. No hook of the leg, just a drape of the arm. Both men rolling and getting back up to their feet now.
Right arm. Right arm. Loving their rights tonight. Trading blows.
Yes, Vinny. Yes, Diego. Yes, Diego. Yes, Diego. Look at this.
That's a
Big
shot
punch
to the ribs. Oh! It slams him back down. Little Russian leg sweep I saw there, trying to tie up the leg for Vinny to be able to get him to slam to the ground.
And a backbreaker right there.
Backbreaker. Get your breath while you can. Well, he's letting you lay on the ground.
And he's up on that second rope.
You
We
jump
know
off of
what's
there, he's going to go
coming.
through the canvas.
Oh!
Good thing
Big
he had
elbow.
Vinny there to break his fall.
Only a 2 count
kidding.
from a big elbow from the second rope like that.
From
You're
a big
kidding
boy.
me. You know why his elbows are showing right now?
Why's that?
Because he flexed and the sleeves fell off.
Yeah, that's what we'll go with tonight. Then why didn't his armbands break?
Because they're painted.
Yeah.
Tattoos.
Okay, tattoos, permanent tattoos.
In for
That's how
a
dedicated
pin
he
and
is to the craft.
That's right. Just another 2 count there. Both
What's he looking
men
for now?
seems like they're. Oh,
Okay.
I don't know.
Fireman's carry, another power
Another
slam.
power slam.
And I mean, I guess if you're Diego, you have to cater to that size advantage for yourself.
You definitely do, especially with the smaller guy who you know can just run circles around you and go up to that top rope and fly.
Yeah, I mean, what's Vinny weigh? 75 pounds maybe?
Maybe.
On a good day.
Soaking wet.
After just going to the gym.
It
After
looks
eating
like
a
he's
good dinner.
soaking wet right now from all of this action in the ring. He is sweating up a storm.
Hey, Vinny, do you know where you are?
Big
Quick
kick.
Is he going for it again? It's not going to work if you go for it again. He's got it scouted. Look at that. Kill switch. Nope. Off the ropes. Duck underneath. Back super kick to the midsection.
That was something I was not expecting at all.
No, me neither.
In for the pin. Just a 2 count again. We got people cheering for Vinny still. We got people cheering for Diego still. All of these kids are behind Diego Da Vinci.
Oh, wait a minute.
We got somebody
Is
tuning
Vinny
up.
tuning the band? Super kick? No, caught. Diego trying to spin him around. Now getting him, taking him down.
Are we gonna see? Are we gonna see a sharpshooter
No
right
way.
now?
Shades of the Hitman.
Canadian boy with the Canadian moves.
Shiv's insisting that Vinny has not tapped yet. Vinny inching
Oh,
closer,
oh.
and he can get a hand on it. His grimy little mitts able to latch onto that bottom rope.
Unfortunately, Diego just didn't have him far enough into the middle of that ring that those arms of Vinny were able to grab that bottom rope.
Diego trying to keep the offense going. Vinny with the elbows, getting out of a bad place. Diego tripped up. All right, I know what move usually follows this setup.
These kids need to get out of the way because I don't know what's going to happen here.
Vinny coming, 6-1-9, dial it up.
Lots of super kick.
1, 2,
A kick out of a super kick. That's unheard of.
I can't take this anymore.
Unless you're the Young Bucks because they seem to like do it all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody just kicks out of a
You'd
super
think that seeing an independent show, you'd see a bunch of super kicks all over the card, but this is the first match of the night we've actually seen them pulled out. So tip of the hat to CWE for keeping their movesets nice and fresh.
I love it. Anything with the CWE. What have we got here now?
Oh,
Split
the
leg.
knees are up, but I'm not sure if maybe the knees got all of it, but it's enough to get Diego back to a vertical base.
And into a pin.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Diego, you do not want to get a chintzy win in your last match of your career.
Straight hands to the face right now.
Oh, sunset, flip, roll up, pin. No.
Too close to the ropes.
Vinny able to counter the momentum there. A sunset flip of Diego's. Oh no!
Oh no!
Vinny sits on it.
What? No way!
Like that. You're going to embarrass your own brother like that in his last match.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just saw and witnessed a matchup for the ages right now.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Gutless.
the winner of this match, the Sin City Saint, Davincis!
Vinny, I know you have a career ahead of you, but you just embarrassed your own blood.
I cannot believe what we just saw.
Even I don't stoop that low.
That's pretty low.
That is low.
Both of the men in the ring right now. I don't know what's happening. He needs some water. He'll throw him some water. And he needs a microphone. We need to get the guy a microphone.
Well, excuse me.
I wanted water. Yeah, I'm thirsty, but. Holy old crap, Diego. Well, first of all, while you take off your tape and get ready to walk off in the sunset, let me just say something to you. Number one, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I had to be an absolute. Well, there's lots of kids here, but you have an idea what I'm going to get at. I'm sorry I had to treat you the way I did for the last couple months because I felt ripped off, that you made me a promise that you were going to wrestle me when you retired. And guess what? You wrestled last tour retired. That didn't sit good with me. You don't credo, okay? So, I went to social media. I went on TV. I went to all these people begging to have Vinny and Diego one-on-one, and I pushed your buttons, and it paid off. I didn't want you old, beat up, washed up, and ready to retire. I wanted angry Diego, I wanted pissed off Diego, and I wanted 110% Diego.
And I think that's what we got tonight.
Absolutely.
I think I just got that. So I don't care that I beat you. That's not the point. I just wanted to take you to your limit, and that wasn't easy. So, accept my humble apologies, shake my hand, and give me a damn hug, you asshole. I love you.
Diego, I bet that's the best apology you're going to get.
Definitely it is. We're seeing the handshake here. Are we going to see this hug, though? Two great competitors, and there's the hug from here in Sault Ste. Marie. Two amazing local guys.
You pushed my buttons, and you got me in this ring. Well, thank you, but you were the better man tonight. And like I said, win, lose, or draw, this was it. I love you guys.
I love you too.
Thank you for coming out.
Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. It's your host, David McKeag, and I'm here joined by Brendan Brooks, one of my analysts and co-host here of the Game Sports Show. We got a very special guest, and if you don't know who he is, I'm going to be honest, you must be living under a rock is one reference I'll go to. You've been missing out on some top-tier entertainment, and I must give a lot of thanks to Brooksy here for getting me introduced to this very special guy coming on the show here, Terry Ryan. Terry, how you doing, pal?
I'm doing great. Good to hear from you guys. Me and Brooksy go way back.
Oh yeah, we do.
See, now you're in. Are you in Ontario right now? Are you in Newfoundland right now?
I'm in Newfoundland. I'm flying to Ontario in the morning. I'm doing a comedy show in Bracebridge Friday and in Elora Saturday.
That is fantastic. Brooksy, you had the luxury, obviously. I just said this to Terry before we went on air here, that I haven't laughed so much in the last 2 days by watching your videos with Biz Nasty when he took his tour, his road warrior tour to Newfoundland there too, and with your dad too. Oh, and the stories that we got the pleasure of hearing with Milbury, with the draft, and also with your teeth. That is just fantastic.
Well, the thing is, Biz knows Teddy Purcell, who's a good buddy of mine. I'd never actually met him. And I had those stories. I mean, I put out my book a few years ago. And, the elephant in the room, I was a huge disappointment as a first-round pick. A lot of that was my fault. A lot of it, I won't get into Tyrion did. I didn't like Michel Therrien, but I'm not going to go to the lengths of ripping him up on Twitter. I said in my book what I thought, but there was a side of Mike that was okay, too. I just didn't see eye to eye with him. And anyway, yada, 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 I got hurt, and I never really did get to, I played in the NHL, but I never really got to, experience it, or what I thought. I made it there is all I can say. I played 8 games. But that being said, I always kept a journal. I loved playing in the minors. There was all these experiences happening. Like Brooksy can tell you, we played on the inline Team Canada in 2004. I've just a lot of things. I won't get into them now, but I never considered, I was never disappointed with my path. I wish I'd played longer in the NHL, but there's a lot of dimensions to life, that there really are, and it's an experience. And I enjoyed playing in the minors. The cities I played in the minors, from Orlando to Colorado Springs, Boise, even Fredericton was a blast. There's a couple of universities there. We were playing on the Habs farm team. So anyway, that led to tales of a first round nothing. I came home here to Newfoundland, and I was injured at 23. I know I could play roller hockey and ball hockey and stuff, but to make a turn in the NHL as a winger, you need to be full on healthy. I had a high ankle sprain, or else you're going to get thrown over the boards. And skating always was a bit of my problem. Like if there was a knock, it was skating.
Well, that's why they wouldn't let you play on my line, right?
Stage.
Isn't that why?
Yeah, exactly. Well, Brooksy, you could fly.
He lost it. He lost it a bit, though. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm getting old, man. I'm 41.
Yeah. Your signature when you played with me was speed.
Oh yeah.
I had to go to Laura Stam and all these skating schools in the summer. I went with guys like Darren McCarty and Brad Brown. We needed to work on our skating, even though we were good players.
Naturals.
See, and you were a first rounder to the Montreal Canadiens, or Montreal Canadiens, if you want to be French, in the 8th overall. And I liked one of your Instagram stories when you said that went ahead of Jerome Iginla, no big deal.
Yeah, he went 11th, if you can believe it.
Yeah, that is fantastic. And obviously it didn't pan out that way, but you had a lot of great experiences, as you mentioned. Also, you played in St. John's. I've heard nothing but great things about St. John's too around there. Just the experiences that you're able to go. And Brooks, yourself, you played in Europe and all that. So
everywhere.
It's the NHL is obviously fantastic, but if you get the opportunity to travel around,
that's the beauty of hockey.
Yeah, and you get to meet different players, different people. Maybe different girls as well. Everything. You just have different stories to get to come across.
Everything, guys. Brooksy can tell you this too. I've always looked at. I wanted to play in the NHL longer. You want the fame and you want the money. That's just a natural human thing, I guess. I didn't sit there dying for the fame, but when you say I'm going to play in the NHL and I want to play on the Montreal Canadiens in front of all those people, whether you admit it or not, there's something to that. So I enjoyed that, but if you were to only play in the NHL, now again, I'm not saying it's a better thing, but if you get to play a little bit and then you play all over the minors, you end up seeing the world from a different lens, right? And if you're in the NHL, for example, you'll see your city and 30 others.
Yeah.
Right. But I've been to 44 states. I've been all over Europe. I've been, so that the downside, if you're in the minors, is financial for the most part, but you're seeing, I loved Boise, Idaho. Who knows if I'd ever would have seen it, or Colorado Springs. I can go on and on and on. And, instead of LA, you're going to Long Beach, but it's still Long Beach, right?
Yep.
You're still getting paid to play a great game. And, to me, it beats a 9-to-5 any day.
So when you got drafted top 10, I can just dream. Obviously, my career ended in junior, okay, with the Sioux Thunderbirds, Blind River Beavers. You can look that up, Terry. You probably don't even know. Okay, so I'm telling you right now, but having that feeling of being able to walk up, on the podium and going 8th overall. What is going through your mind? And you can be as full discreet with this, because I'll tell you, if I was drafted 8th overall, I'd be like, yeah, here comes the money. Okay, here comes the life, the fame.
It was weird for me because I left Newfoundland. My dad played pro hockey, and I didn't know much about the leagues. I knew there was an OHL, there was a WHL, there was a Q. But in Newfoundland, we had an inferiority complex at the time. Other than John Slaney, who came a few years before me, and that was kind of a fluke. You had to kind of win in Newfoundland and go to the mainland for a tournament, and people would scout you. No one was coming here to scout anybody. Mm-hmm. So I had a defeatist attitude. I really didn't ever I wanted to play in the NHL, but it didn't seem like a possibility here in Newfoundland. It didn't. Mm-hmm. So I went to BC when I was 14, and I ended up playing junior. The Tri-City Americans had me go out there, and they were like, we'll draft you if you come. And I still didn't really believe it. But I ended up as a 14-year-old, a first-year Bantam. I led my team in penalty minutes and points. So I went 3rd overall in the Western League draft. And then I was like, okay, now there's something to this. But again, I still didn't think the NHL. I was hoping. But, I had modest points as a 16-year-old. I had 30 points, I think, and 170 penalty minutes maybe, something like that.
Well, that's the thing with you. You could score, but you could fight when the time was necessary.
That time,
and you weren't a big guy, like for how big some of those fighters were back then.
Heck, you fought Wade Belak. I heard that story too.
Yeah, and guys, the thing is, I didn't mind it. Like, I don't know if I skipped a grade in Newfoundland growing up, and a lot of people in my class, for whatever reason, a lot had failed a grade. So they were at least a year or two older than me, and I was a good hockey player, so you get bullied a little bit. I never would use that word. I think it made me grow up. I'm not really, and the bullies, I came home and we all, most of them have since reached out, but I wouldn't take shit on the playground either. Like, I got in fist fights, right? So, and being an only child maybe and sticking up for people, I don't know what it was. You'd have to ask my therapist, but really, because I don't know, but I know that I didn't mind the fights at all. I didn't mind. I'd rather get punched in the face than get blown up going through the middle with my head down.
Yep.
So that part was natural to me, and the Western League at the time was just exploding. My 5 years in the West, if you count the half a year, Kamloops won the Memorial Cup 3 of those years. Not the West. They won the whole Memorial Cup. They were stacked. The year before that, Spokane won it. A couple years before that, Swift Current won it. So it was at that particular time, and then Eric Lindros was coming in with LeClaire and those and Renberg, and it was the Legion of Doom, right? And our era, Brooksy, and you overlapped into this. You're just a year younger than me, I think.
Are you?
Yeah, we're pretty close.
Yeah.
I think, a year or two. I just remember from the role, I didn't look up your stats, but and the guys you played with. I was born in 77. But
I'm 78, so that's right on.
I thought so.
Your math is good today.
Yeah, it's on fire.
I thought so. Honestly, what were we when we played on that team? I guess it was 15 years ago. So
yeah, that's a long time.
But the thing is, Brooksy, hockey was tough in the 70s. And then in the 80s, people say, well, then you had Probert and Chris Nyland. Then, well, you did, but they were 30-goal scorers. They were 20-goal scorers. They were good. In our era was the era of signing a guy so he could drop his gloves and beat the shit out of you and get 1 goal and 1 assist on the whole season.
And then it was one of those things, if there was a big guy that had a little bit of potential, no matter what, they'll try to teach him the game and make him a player.
Like a Paul Probert.
The bigger, the better it was for a long time.
It was. Which didn't make it easy to go into a lot of these barns with small surfaces. You really had to get psyched up before the game. And for me, that was almost a positive energy, and a lot of people didn't like it. So I saw it as an advantage. So it became, junior was different. In junior, I think I had 25 fights, but frig everybody. Lankow led the league in scoring. I think he had 12 or 13. I was on his line.
Not a bad line, mate.
So it was just a thing in the Western League. You drop the mitts, and there was a lot of guys that, like middleweights, that just went. I considered myself a middleweight. But guys like Aaron Asham, who came out and became – Ash was a middleweight in the show, but like the way he fought was sensational. You watch him, and he's going back and forth. That was just normal in the Western League. Ash just happened to be a better talented player than all the other ones. But he was a normal fighter.
Yep.
So normal is the wrong word to use, but there was lots of fighters.
Oh yeah, that's the way it was. We had
that
to
fought
survive.
like Aaron did. Yeah.
They didn't have, like now in today's game, it's completely different. That's just putting it lightly. And that's from a look at everything that's going on today, okay? From the coaches' allegations now, or I guess they're not really allegations if they're coming out to be true. But nonetheless, it's not like that anymore, all right? But you have that two-way type style. And the Brad Marchands are the type of players that you see now that are the pesky ones. You know, the fighters.
Yeah.
You got Ryan Reeves there, obviously, in the show, and he's able to put the puck in the net to some extent as well. But the game has changed so much, even since the 80s, 90s, thousands, even the 10s, it's changed.
Guys, every team used to have 4 and 5 guys with over 200, 300 penalty minutes. Now lots of teams don't have one with over 100.
Right. No.
And again, I'm talking about the era it came out. I understand the change. I'm not saying I don't get it. Like a lot of what we did was crazy, but I also think maybe we're going too far one way because again, I had post-concussion syndrome 4 times. You can look at the one on I can't remember the tag. I think it's Terry Ryan gets hit and Damon Lankow responds, I think.
That's why you don't remember.
Yeah, exactly. Good point, Brooksy. On YouTube, but like, so my concussions were from getting hit and I wanted to prevent that. So a lot of times my fights were to prevent that and get respect before they happened. And who knows? If people say that sounds barbaric, okay, well, either make the ice bigger or leave the red line in so it's not so fast. There's got to be a way, but the concussions are going up. No one's talking about that. No. And the fights are becoming non-existent. So I'm not here to preach, everybody should fight, everybody, but I do think there's a happy medium. And
well, you need somebody to protect. You need that policing, which is gone now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like William Nylander wouldn't have survived in today's, like in the days of the 90s, I don't think, or I think the early thousands might be pushing a little bit, but I think someone like William Nylander that's all flash, that doesn't drop the mitts by any means, and he worries about his hair a lot. No offense to William Nylander, but nonetheless, you got a guy in the, like, if you got Marty McSorley coming against, Willie Nylander.
Dude, if I was caught looking in the mirror at my hair in warm-up, even though I wore no bucket in warm-up in pro, like, I'd probably get shit from everybody, if not a slap across the face. But now, like, guys go in the room with selfie sticks. It's completely, promote myself. And that's become me, right? It's a lot of me.
The team is gone.
Back in our day.
Yep.
Up until not that long ago, outside of the fights, if I went on Twitter and was bullshitting with a guy on the other team before the game, holy Jesus Christ!
No,
I'd be fined. I'd probably be benched.
Max 5 from the boys, absolutely.
Exactly.
I also think, guys, that now the reason that it's becoming so soft, and again, soft is the wrong word because everybody got a weapon in their hand and you can still hit and guys are getting injured. There's a lot of injuries.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Game Sports Show inside on TV studios. Hopefully you enjoyed those very special segments with CWE Local Wrestling from Sue Blasser and the Terry Ryan interview, which you heard in audio format that was uploaded this past weekend on Wednesday, which was recorded last Thursday on my mother's birthday. A little shout out there.
Oh, happy birthday, Miss McKay.
There you go. And just the video portion, I think it's such a cool perspective. Obviously having this, it's not the first time we're on video because we have our TV show, but to have like an environment of an interview of a guest like that through phone. It was through our phone that we were using here inside studios. It was fantastic. I have Brooks here for the first time on TV as well.
What a guy.
It was great. And we have a lot of big things coming with guests.
Buckle
a lot of
up,
big things.
sit down when you hear that news coming.
Definitely. Now, as the intro said there, we're getting into our In the Pockets. Let's get it going. Cora wins OFSA again. And back champions are against Holy Cross in Hamilton. Was a 31-21 win. And you know what, Cora, it was a lot of comments on social media about how the hard work of Holy Cross made this a very tough game for Cora. It was a great football game. And nonetheless, Cora walks away champions. TPW, they were very excited on Instagram to give them the follow at Cora Football. Tom Annett does it again, Alex.
Does it?
And his players.
Oh, of course. And that's evidently so. I mean, the players are already being rewarded for this. Jordan Robinson-Wright, the most winningest quarterback in their whole school's history.
Whoa!
Signed to the University of Toronto earlier today.
Yep,
So,
and that was on Instagram. You can check that out. Congratulations to Jordan Robinson-Wright, who is also a fan of the show and has been on the show.
Yes.
Okay, so I know he's going to be hearing this and giving us a shout out back. No pressure there, Jordan. But nonetheless, he's getting into Toronto is a big move, right? You go into the CIS ranks. It's an opportunity there to continue scholastic avenues as well, and to go down there into a big school.
Hey, there's
Fantastic.
CFL scouts there too. You never
There is.
know. You never
Capabilities
know.
are there, and this team was heavily watched and admired. There's a lot of players that can be looking forward to potential growth spurts or growth towards CIS as well. Tyler Breeken comes to name.
Oh my
There's a lot of players in this core program that was fantastic.
Yeah, this program keeps climbing up in the ranks in Canada too. I can't remember exactly where they were, but I believe it was somewhere in the 20s that they finished last year, and I feel like they're finished just around that same area again this year.
Yeah.
What big things coming out of Sault Ste. Marie for something other than hockey, which is great to hear.
Yep, it is obviously great to hear. But we got NFL too.
Oh God. Let's do it.
Now the Ravens winning again. Okay, are they Super Bowl favorites right now, number one? And the 10-2 teams that remain are the Ravens, 49ers, Seahawks, and the Saints and the Pats. So does one of these 5 teams make the Super Bowl, or do 2 out of these 5 teams make the Super Bowl?
It's so hard to say. I just watched the Pats get steamrolled by the Texans over the weekend. I don't know how much to look into that. I think the Pats, a lot of people at the beginning of the season were saying it's going to be a cakewalk for them to the finals. I still think they're going to be walking on that cake straight to the finals myself. But boy, those Ravens look good.
Right.
I didn't think Lamar Jackson was as legit as he is, but you just watch those slow motion replays of his little stutter steps and people's ankles just...
Michael Vick reincarnated on that football field at his prime.
It's crazy. He's got a 96 speed rating in Madden, the highest ever, beating Michael Vick's record. Fun fact.
Wow, bringing out the Madden fact. I love that. Now, I'll say that I've said the Rams and the Patriots were going to be the Super Bowl this year. The Rams and the Patriots, right? That was mine, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Why not?
There's still a chance, right? But out of these 2 teams, yes, you'll see 2 out of them, and it'll be the Saints and Patriots. Giving love to Dustin Grana and Jamie Antonello, one of our analysts who are Saints fans on the show. Okay, so upcoming games of the week, okay? We jump into this. I'm going to go to you first with your game of the week. I think we might share a common interest this week.
I need to make sure the Packers keep winning, because it seems like the Vikings are just breathing hot breath down their back. So I'm very biased in saying this, but if the Packers don't win this week, I'm going to be irate, and I'm going to make sure you guys hear about it come next time, Tuesday.
See, I'll save wait first before we even go to the other game of the week. Packers. Give your full little brief reaction about the Packers. And even Lions fans, it's just time to throw in the towel.
Wow. For the Packers, I came into this season expecting nothing. I looked down my roster. I saw nobody besides Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. And Rodgers has the effect where he can turn nobodies into somebodies. And as long as you are open, he will find you. I mean, it was week 6. He was thrown to a guy with no name at the time, catching it in the end zone, no problems. If you would have told me at the beginning of this season that the Packers were going to be in the position that they are, I would have laughed in your face and said, there's no way, write this season off. But just like my other team, the Leafs, there's always a sense of hope that needs to come crushing down, whether or not it's sooner rather than later.
See, I'll say quickly, as we were saying with the Lions, we talked about this yesterday on ESPN 1400, myself and Scott, and I said that with the Lions, Matt Patricia's time to clean house with that management, because this team has not had a running game, and I think it also comes from ownership, that they need to get a different ownership in there. I'm not going to point, we're going to talk about this more tomorrow, but dedication and the want to win is something that I'm not fully seeing there. Game of the week for me is the Saints and the 49ers.
What a game.
Given so. That is quite obvious where I'm going to go. And now another thing we want to jump into quick was the Steelers. Are they going to make the playoffs? I'm going to be biased and say they're going to pull in as a wild card team, and they're going to end up playing the Buffalo Bills, and I think it's going to be a tough wild card game.
And I'm going to be biased in saying I want to be right. I said the Steelers weren't going to make it. I thought trading their first-round pick for a quarterback was the dumbest decision they could have made. So I want to be right, so I'm going to say the Steelers are not going to make it. But I feel like a wild card's really not that far out of the realm of reality.
Tennessee's looking good. Oh, Tennessee too. It's going to be a tough couple weeks. But nonetheless, Alex, so that's been our show. Quick, it transitions us nicely. Okay, and we usually have a thumbs up portion and thumbs down. And thumbs up, I'm just going to keep it rolling with the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's just my thumbs up. And the Toronto Raptors, with success that they're doing.
Oh my goodness, the Raptors, for anybody who thought they were not legit, watch one game and you try to tell me that same thing, because they have been unreal. They haven't had Lowry and Ibaka for 2 weeks' time. Lowry comes back tonight, and they just kept rolling. What a team.
So nonetheless, the Raptors, thumbs up all around. This team had people had doubts. Kawhi who? Just kidding.
Kawhi
Nonetheless, as I mentioned, this has been our action-packed show here tonight with only a little bit of studio time. But Alex, thank you, and we'll see you Thursday.
See me Thursday.
Thursday. We'll have a show tomorrow, Wednesday from Sports Center, and then Thursday from Northern Superior Brewing Company, and then obviously coverage throughout the weekend as well. This has been the Twin Stews only local, regional, and national sports show, the Game Sports Show. We're very happy you're able to join us, and I can't say that old signature line that I had, but here to remind you to have a great night and booyah.